Hey loves, and welcome back to Life with CheKesha. It is your girl, and today we're going to be doing something a little different, and we're going to be doing a sit down chit chat video. So if you want to hear and see more of today's video, keep watching.
Bad little flex, she wanna know me. I stay low key.
All right, love. So before we get deep in today's video, because it is kind of serious, but I do want to welcome back all of my subscribers. You already know it is mad love here. And if this is your first time tuning in, do me a big favor and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you never miss any of my videos. All right, you guys. So I have been talking about I'm shaking the camera. I have been talking about sharing my journey with psoriasis for a very, very long time. And now I am ready to share that with you all. But before we get into that part of the video, because it is a lot, and I will insert a few pictures of what I look like going through the process. But this is more of just like a life update video. And the first part of this video, I want to talk about my YouTube channel. All right, so most of you guys know that when I started this channel, I started under the name of Her Lovely Plan because it was all about the planner stuff, being a planner babe, buying all the stickers, all the washi, and all of that good stuff. So I've been on this platform for a while. And with that being said, a lot of my content probably prior to, I want to say the beginning of this year, if not the beginning of this year, definitely not this year because we're in a new year. I believe I probably started actually vlogging maybe probably like 2021. But I've been on this platform since, when did I get married? 2017. So I think I probably started my YouTube channel around like 2018 because the Plan to Better Me retreat was in 2019. So I started the channel before I actually went to the retreat. But I started as, just showing me decorating my planner and stuff like that. And then as I started getting busier in life and really trying to also adjust to being a new wife, because everything kind of happened within the same time frame that I got married and we moved and all of those things. And then COVID happened in 2020. It's just being a planner babe just started to change. The way I plan changed, the type of planners I use changed. And I realized that I really didn't have the content to really be creating planner related videos because I really wasn't doing all the things that I started. And that's a part of life. I feel like, your core self, your character, those things should never change because that should be who you have been designed to be. But the different facets and the different areas of your life that bring you joy, that bring you creativity, sometimes those things change because if it's new to you, you're not going to know if you really love it or just like it or don't like it until you try it. And that's kind of like how I am. And so, I got into the planners, bought all the stickers, all the things, but I realized that I was doing more decorating and tutorials about planning and how to, make your planner look nice. And I wasn't doing any planning. And so I kind of contribute that to kind of like the snowball effect of me being all over the place because I just was not really focusing on the plan. And, my husband had to remind me of that here recently, like, where is your plan? Where is our plan? Like, you over here all over the place. Like, and that was kind of like a punch in the face that I needed but didn't want. But I say all that to say is that with the planning, I just was like, I'm not getting anything accomplished. So I got introduced to digital planning and I loved it. One, because it helped me save my coins, which is very necessary because I needed to start doing my part with, being a better saver and spending less. I feel like that's a natural gene with women, that we just like to buy all the things. I mean, if you agree, let me know in the comments. But, I was like, I need to do something that's effective, functional, and cost efficient. And so I got into digital planning probably midway last year, and I fell in love because I could buy the stickers that I love, the digital stickers, and I could just keep reusing them and reusing them. And I didn't have to worry about hoarding and holding on to all these stickers that I love so much but didn't want to use, because I'm like, okay, this was a limited edition. I won't be able to buy them anymore. So I started giving stickers away, planner stuff away, selling some things, and just letting go of all of those things. It was freeing to me. And then I became more productive by just having what I needed in front of me all the time. I always have my iPad. I always have my phone. And with that being said, that pushed me away from really filming planner content. But I love being able to share with you all. I love being able to be in front of the camera, whether it's my face or my hands or what have you. Because in my sharing, it's always something that the Holy Spirit pushes me to share with you all, to help not only encourage and inspire me, but hopefully to inspire other people. My life is not perfect. I'm still a work in progress, but I do truly believe in my heart that when other people see you where you are and they're there too, or they're about to get there, whether you're showing a planner or a bag or a computer, the message always is the star of the show. So with all that being said, I was like, how can I still be on this platform and enjoy it? And so I started to vlog. But before I started to vlog, I was watching other content creators and I was getting inspired by their content. And I was like, how can I represent real life and true life, everyday life, without it being so planned out? So that's why I decided to change the page to Life with CheKesha, because my life ain't like my everyday life. I mean, I go to work, I come home, I cook, clean my body, like all of those normal things, But I was like, how can I represent women my age that are in their 40s, where it can be received by even women in their teens, 20s, and 30s, 40s, of course, 50 and older, because we all go through stages of life. So how can I be a representation to the women in my age group and the ones that are coming up behind me, so they can see like, hey, 40 don't look too bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. And for the women that are older than me, seeing someone where they used to be, motivating them to be like, you know what, I can keep going on. I can keep pushing. I can keep, striving. And that was the whole goal of me switching to vlogging. It took a minute to pick up, and it's still growing. But the thing of it is, to those that in my life that see how long I've been doing it, I think a lot of times they forget that this vlogging part is new. So it's almost like I'm starting something new. Even though I've been on this platform since about 2018, I haven't been on this platform doing vlog and life, real life, and I don't really even call it lifestyle, real life content. So it may appear like, okay, you've been sitting here doing this thing. I mean, when is the growth coming? But it is growth, because like I said, I've only been vlogging for a short period of time, and seeing how from the time I switched to where I'm in now, it just really has blown my mind. At first I was kind of like, okay, this is moving slow, but it's because my mind is still stuck to how long I actually started this channel, not when I switched to Life with CheKesha. So all that being said, I don't want this platform to ever come before my family, my profession, but this is something that I love to do. It's a hobby, but it's also a part of my creativity. I am a creative by nature. most hairstylists are. And you probably saw that in some of my planner videos, how I would create things out of, vellum and laminate and all of that stuff. So, this is a place where I can be expressive, where I can express myself without somebody judging me or without somebody saying, well, why are you doing this? Like, this is my space where I feel comfortable, and I feel comfortable enough to share. So that's why I love vlogging. Now, with that being said, I have been discussing, my platform and, with my husband, just trying to figure out, like, let's make stuff make sense. So I may be taking a hiatus, because as much as I don't ever want to put this before my family, because it's God, my husband, and my family. And God is in this. So I know that this has to be what it is. But I also have to make sure that everything else is in line and that there's balance. And one thing that my husband always ministered about when he was ministering, and he still does, but when it was like we was doing real life with Luvs and CheKesha, it was about balanced life. And I think I got off of that because I got so comfortable in my own space where I didn't have to feel judged, where I didn't have to feel, the pressures and things like that. So I'm enjoying the vlogging. I'm praying that this platform goes to the next level, because I really do know in my spirit that God is in it. But even with that, Jesus had to walk away sometimes just to gather himself. So, if you notice that I may not be consistently posting, or if I go away, I'm going to always communicate. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of people say, you don't got to explain to people why you got taking a break or why you stopping. And you don't have to. But when people are so invested into the information and the content that you're putting out there, it's just nice to just provide them with some surface information, because you do want them to be able to come back and rock with you when you do return. So that's that. So this channel is going to remain about real life, balanced life. And prayerfully, I can get my husband to kind of come in along with this so I don't have to go anywhere. But even with that being said, I love where I'm at. And I love the awakening that I have received when it comes to this platform and just my life in general. So that's a little update, or kind of bring you up to speed how I went from a planner channel to a vlogging style channel. Next, I want to talk about family. It's short but sweet. As you know, it's Team Sims all day long, baby. Even though sometimes, it may not seem like that because I don't talk about it that much or share as much as I did originally, because life is lifing. Outside is not outside like it used to be. So, the little fun things and the places and stuff that we used to do all the time together, it's just a little different now, because we have a new addition to our baby, but that's the new addition. We have a new addition to the Sims family, another girl. So I'm not alone anymore. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm the only Sims girl in this family. And when I say in this family, it's this family, the Luvs Sims family. There's an extension of everybody. There's a branch of everybody's family, but I'm talking about this particular family. So my bonus son, the one that is the professional basketball player that plays in Brazil, him and his fiance has blessed us with a baby. And I'm going to ask her to make sure, but if she says yes, I'm going to pop a picture of her in here so y'all can see how beautiful she is. If I don't pop a picture, just check me out on Instagram. I'm always sharing stories or reels that have baby Avea. That's her name. She has stolen all of our hearts. She is so adorable, but I call her Nugget because when she was in her mama's belly, we didn't know what she was at first, and she was small like a nugget, and I didn't want to call her Pea or Peanut. Everybody getting a little, I just thought she was like a little nugget, a little chicken nugget. So she is has blessed us She was born January 12th, 2023. So by the time you see this video, she will be a whole 4 weeks old. And she's just amazing. And it's just even more amazing how God makes things happen. As most of you know, I don't have any children naturally. I was in a relationship, didn't know, or maybe probably knew but turned a blind eye. That person out there in the streets streeting, we in the bed unprotected sex because he's my man. And unbeknownst to me, because one, I didn't have any symptoms, and two, because nobody really educated me about my body and recognizing irregular and unnormal things. I ended up getting a lot of scar tissue, which put me in a position where I could not have children naturally. So I had to have one of my tubes removed because I had 2 ectopic pregnancies, and it just made the tube worse. And then just from scar tissue and things, the other tube was blocked. I could have done in vitro and all of that stuff, but for me, at the age that I found out that was happening, I knew in my spirit, and God told me, even though I wasn't in a deep relationship with God like I am now, that was something that I would only do with my husband, because that's a commitment, not only financially but emotionally. And when I did get more information about in vitro and all of that stuff, the relationship that I was in, I just knew that was not the relationship that I could do that in. One, because I just couldn't, and two, that is an emotional journey to take. And you have to have a partner that can really stick with you, that can really not allow your emotions of, getting injections and your hormones and, maybe having the baby or maybe not having a baby. Like, it takes a strong unit to deal with that. And I just knew that the relationship that I was in at that time, it just wouldn't have sustained. And as you can see, I'm not with that person. So with all that being said, it was a time in my life where I was really down about that, because all I've ever wanted as a woman to be a wife and a mother. That was like one of the main things on my goal list: wife, mother, and everything else. In which that kind of fell in line with what God's, order is: God, spouse, children, and everything else. And I didn't know that at the time, but now I do. But with all that being said, fast forward to when I met my husband, he had 4 amazing sons. 3 of them were already adult age. Well, 2 were adult age, and 1 was coming out of high school. And then we had, at the time, I used to call him little man. Now I call him the boy. But now I think we're going back to little man. I don't know what we call it, but y'all know he stayed in my videos. And again, because, life is life, and, he's being a teenager now, and he's not he just wants to hang out with his friends and play basketball, which, hey, I'm happy that he's happy. So that's why you don't see him in any videos anymore. Every now and again when he's here, he might peep in. But I say all that to say is that God did give me the desires of my heart, and he gave me the things that he knew that I wanted. He gave me a husband that is an amazing husband, even though it be days where we don't like each other, but we always love each other. And his sons, I have unique relationships with each one of them, because when we met, the goal was to allow me to create my own bond with them, so they know that I love them for them, not because I'm marrying their dad. So many times people will act like they love the other person's children so they can be married, and then when they get married, they treat the other children like crap. You know what I'm saying? And that was not how we was gonna roll. especially it was so unique that his dynamics as a father and my dynamics as a daughter that has had step parents on both sides, I knew it was like the role and the understanding was just seamless. Like I understood as a child what it was like to have somebody else with my dad and somebody else with my mother. And I knew I've had great bonus parent examples to be able to be like, this is how I want to be if I ever marry somebody with kids. Like I want them to look at me as if I was, you know, more than just a stepmom. Like I'm an additional mother that you can lean on and talk to and also be cool with. You know what I'm saying? Like I always talk about my wig, my auntie mama, like I'm like your auntie, but I'm your mama. You know what I'm saying? So that's the vibe that I have as a bonus mom. And to be able to honestly say that I have a relationship with my kids and my husband, not I have a relationship with my kids' dad, or I have, however it is, because whatever the case may be, it's an amazing blessing. God gave me 4 sons that I did not have to birth or labor. Praise the Lord. So with all that being said, because I have some amazing bonus sons, my second to the oldest bonus son and his fiance has blessed us with a grandbaby. So it's just, I'm so excited about going along this particular journey. So that's family update. Let's go ahead and get into business. All right, in regards to business, the salon is my primary source of income. I'm a single owner operated of hair couture salon and spa, in which I have rent a suite inside Salon Plaza. And at this point, most people the whole world should know about salon suites. That's become the most popular thing, especially after COVID. With people just being able to have like one person at a time in their suite or what have you. Suites are what's happening. I still love an open concept salon, but I feel like with open concept salons, it has to be different from the old school ones, just for me. And the type of clients that I have, like, you know, when God blesses me with my own building, me and my husband with our own building, if I choose to do an open concept, it's like, look, we need to do personality checks because I need to make sure that everybody's personalities can work together. We all got to be friends. We don't even have to have the same food and drink and wardrobe things in common. But when it comes to work, we have to be able to have the same work mentality, because I don't want that turnover. You were in a booth and you were in a booth and you in here with your booty shorts on. And no offense to booty shorts, but I believe in professionalism. With your booty shorts on, gossiping, talking about who killed Pookie and who cheating on who. And on this side, you're talking about business and you're talking about, you know, finances and, you know, positive relationships. And then you got this one, look at them over there, they think they're better than us. Look at them over there, they over there like, I don't want none of that. Plus, you know, I came from a space where, you know, other styles would talk about other people's clients, and I'm like, I don't ever want anybody's clients to feel uncomfortable, because our clients as stylists, we depend on them to be able to thrive. Just like Beyonce being able, you know, making all them millions, she make them millions because her core fans love her. They love what she represents. They love her positivity. So they're willing to pay whatever to go see her. And that's how my salon space is. Like, when you come in, you feel comfortable, you feel loved, you feel like you've been counseled to, ministered to, whatever it is that your need is at that time. You get all of those things and you leave never feeling like you were disrespected, talked about, and not heard. So that's how I run my business, and that's why I've been able to thrive and survive after COVID. A lot of stylists, when they came back to work after COVID, a lot of their clients either didn't come back or they end up going to other people. And I've been blessed to keep the majority of my clients, the ones, that, feel comfortable to, still come. I had a few that was like, I think I'm just going to just wear my hair natural and keep it cut. Then I did have a few that did pass away. But for the most part, God blessed me with, I'll say, a good 90% of returning clients. Plus, I am getting new clients, and I'm still getting new clients today. And it doesn't come from advertising. It comes from just good customer service and doing good hair and caring about people's hair. So when it comes to business, I do the same thing with my YouTube channel and my social medias, because even though those are hobbies, those have also became a part of my business because I am monetized. So I have to make sure that when I am putting things out there, that it's received in a positive way so people can want to come back and get more. So that's pretty much where I am in my business life. Let's get into this part. Hopefully I don't get emotional. And before I start talking about my psoriasis that also caused, or I call it like a co-diagnosis, but I also have psoriatic arthritis. So let's just start it from the beginning. The last quarter of the year was hell on my body. I'm just gonna be real. October, November, December was hell on my body. However, God was with me all through the process, because again, the only person that really saw how much pain and discomfort that I was in was my husband. And again, I thank God for him, because husband that is not a man of God probably would have ran, or just not been able to deal with what I was going through. So really didn't find out what was going on until probably November, like close to the middle or end of November. But around October, let me preface this. I do have scalp psoriasis, which was inherited. Psoriasis, they really don't know why or how people get it, but most people that get it is because it is a heredity thing. And my dad's side, most people on my dad's side that I know that I'm like first cousins, aunts, and uncles, they suffer with scalp psoriasis, which I have had for years. I've been able to manage it without going to a dermatologist. And I can look at all the triggers now, but I did not realize how they kind of caused everything else. So I kept having these really dry, white, almost concrete patches right here. Never had it before. When I get my psoriasis flare-ups, it's normally around the hairline or maybe a couple of places throughout my head, but it was just here, and I could not get them things to go away. I tried everything that I normally tried, and it was driving me crazy, and I kept saying, I'm gonna go to a dermatologist, and I just never went. So then all of a sudden I started getting the worst itchy, rashy kind of look on my belly and my lower back. And it was so bad. I mean, I took so much Benadryl that I ended up getting immune to it. I used so many tubes of cortisone cream. I've tried Aveeno, Cetaphil, CeraVe, everything you could think of. Nothing was working, and I just kept saying, like, what is going on? I'm like, well, what did I eat? Maybe I'm having a food reaction. I'm like, well, maybe I can't drink wine no more. Then I was like, maybe it was the gummy bears, because I ate a whole big bag of gummy bears. Like, I was just like trying to figure it out. And then it got so bad, I ended up going to Patients First on Halloween. I can remember that because it was a Monday and I was off. So I went, the guy asked me a couple of questions and looked at the areas, and he was like, oh, this is, I don't know the exact name, but it was a form of rosacea. Rosacea, yeah. So he was like, take this, what did he give me? Gosh, I can't remember what it was, but it was a steroid, and prednisone. He gave me prednisone, And I took it and I was like, oh, I feel so good. I was like, even like my achy, because I've always had kind of like knee pains because I had knee surgery a while back. And so with the change of the weather, I get knee pain. So it never dawned on me that that was associated with anything that I was going through. But I was feeling good. I was like, oh yeah. I was doing my damn dash. I was feeling good. So it was a 14-day that I had to take. And so when it got to that last week, I was stepping down. The last day I had to take the pills was on a Saturday. And I was like, okay, let's see what's going on. Sunday, I was like, oh, I feel a little achy. Like my knee felt more achier than it ever felt, even before I had my surgery. But I was like, oh, it's probably nothing. So then, y'all, that Monday, I was like, oh my goodness, my knee is like, I was like limping. I could barely bend it. And I was like, what is going on? So then that Tuesday when I had to meet Cokes and Santa for their birthday, we, go out for each other's birthday. We did breakfast. I could barely walk. They was like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. I was like, my knee is killing me. So with that being said, like my focus was on the knee pain. And then all of a sudden I just was like itching all over. This was like that was a Tuesday. By that weekend, I was like itching all over. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, I thought I was going to be all right after I took this prednisone. Listen, my whole body flared up. And I'll insert a picture so you can see certain parts of my body. I mean, I had like my scalp. I mean, literally every day I would comb it. It would be piles of like scabs mixed with hair. And I'll insert that as well. And that was daily. So my hair started thinning because the skin that was coming off, hair was attached to it. And I'm like, what is going on? So that's why I started ordering wigs. So I was like, I need to get my head straight, my scalp and my hair straight before I wear my hair out again. I was like, I ain't coloring it. I ain't doing nothing. And y'all know I love to cover my grays. So anyway, then like from that, then it was like almost it just started going downwards. I would take my clothes off from sleeping in the morning and shake them out. So much dead skin and scaly skin was coming out. Like I would take a bath in the shower and the washcloth would be full with skin. Like it was the worst. I'm like, what is going on? So I finally made an appointment to go to the dermatologist because I'm like, this is not normal. I went to the dermatologist. I was in so much discomfort because it wasn't pain. It was discomfort because it was so itchy. And then it was like, whatever I wore would suck up all the, oils and lotions that I put on. It was just, I wanted to walk around naked because I was just so itchy. And I would, when I slept in the bed, because I didn't want my skin to get on the bed, I would wrap myself in a blanket and sleep that way and then shake it out in the morning and have to vacuum. It was a mess. So I went to the dermatologist and she was like, okay, you have psoriasis. And I was like, well, I have it in my scalp. Why is it on my body? She was like, sometimes when you get to a certain, well, she didn't tell me that. I looked up, Pfizer has a YouTube channel and they said that once, normally like in your 40s or 50s, sometimes you would have a full body flare. And I'm in my 40s. I'm 49 now, but I was 48 when it happened. So the age-wise made sense. And it was like, since most people that already suffer with some form of psoriasis will at some point have it on different parts of their bodies. Now, the reason why mine blew up so bad, so big, and so fast is because psoriasis is an autoimmune disease. When you have autoimmune diseases, treating it with an oral steroid is going to make it worse once you get off of that oral steroid. Now, if I would have stayed on the prednisone, it probably would have stayed fine. But as soon as I got off of it, if I didn't have anything else to treat it, it would have triggered it. So she just explained that the only way to treat it was to use well, one of the ways, the main ways to treat it was to use a topical steroid. So she gave me some topical steroids, and you know, it was working, but my knee and my wrist, it's only was my left side, my left wrist, knee, and ankle swelled up so big. And I'll put videos or pictures up there of that as well. They were so big. I was like, what is going on? So I started Googling stuff, and it was like psoriatic arthritis is normally coupled with psoriasis. So Thanksgiving, I worked the day before Thanksgiving, and I worked Black Friday, and I worked that Saturday. And I was at my worst. I was in so much pain. I couldn't even bend my knee. When I was going, and I live on the 3rd floor, so when I'm going up and down the steps, I'm like the one leg going like this. It was the worst. That was the worst part. I think that was even worse than the itching, because I was in so much pain, and because the type of job that I do, I stand up, I use my hands, and then my hands started breaking out and the bottom of my feet. I'm like, what in the world? So at that point, when my husband saw the swelling, he got super concerned, more concerned than before. And he was like, look, you got to go to the doctor to find out what's going on. Because we was like, maybe it was fluid, or was it infection? Like, what's going on? So we went to the emergency room on a Sunday, and they confirmed it wasn't any swelling or any infection. So she referred me, the doctor on call referred me to a rheumatoid doctor, in which that was a blessing, because this particular doctor was booked solid. But because she either knew him, but I just say it was the favor of the Lord, I was able to get in on that Friday. I went to the emergency room that Sunday. I got to see him on that Friday. And Dr. Liggins is a gift from God. He looked at all my skin, and he, looked at my joints and stuff. And I had been taking pictures just so I can document what was going on, so I can kind of see like when it got worse and when it got better. And I was showing him the pictures, and he was like, oh yeah, he said, you look like you have like some type of systemic and plaque psoriasis, which the plaque psoriasis is more like where it's, like I said, it's like, well, you can't see it here. I showed it in my Get Ready With Me, but you can see the build up of it's like build up little spots. Then the systemic is when it's just like spreads out all over. So I had a combination. So he put me on, it's actually a chemo pill, but it's methotrexate, something like that. I always say it wrong. But he started me off with 4 pills every 7 days, but now I'm at 6 pills. And because it is a chemo pill, hair loss, numbing of the fingers, and ulcers are a common side effect. So he put me on folic acid to help prevent that. So I take folic acid every day, and then every 7 days I take the methotrexate. I know I'm saying it wrong, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So I do experience a lot of shedding, but I'm still like, washing my hair, putting the ointments on my scalp, conditioning my hair to at least, run the course. There's no cure for psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis. All you can do is just treat it with your ointments and your whatever prescription medicine or injection that you're subscribed right now. The plan with my rheumatoid doctor, because he can kind of manage everything else, is to stay what I'm on now, and in March kind of see where we are, and if I need to change it. I haven't, thank God, had any more flares. I just have areas that just seem like they're not going away, in which I know they will eventually. I might be left with some dark spots, in which I will take the dark spots over everything that I've been through. But there are things that can help that, but that's secondary. My main control is just to make sure that I manage what I'm going through, and keeping an eye out on if I notice a new area. What did I do that day? Was I stressed? Did I eat something? Like, to kind of figure out whatever the triggers may be. So with that being said, the emotional toll it took a lot out of me emotionally, but because I relied on my relationship with God, I would look at myself completely naked in the mirror, looking like a monster. I mean, that's just how I felt. And I would say, Lord, thank you for still giving me the strength, still waking me up. Show me what it is that I need to learn in this process. Physically, I was exhausted because like your body's trying to do like recreate skin, but then you have skin that has not healed, because that's kind of like how psoriasis happens. Like the skin is like regenerating faster than the dead skin can come off, because our skin sheds every day just like our hair, but it's just not that noticeable. And so it was just a lot. And then I was tired because I was working and my body was trying to do its own healing. So I slept a lot. I did lose like about, I think it was like 205 when it started, and I got down to like 187 because I would sleep so much. I just really wasn't eating. It wasn't that I didn't have an appetite. It's just I wanted to sleep. The pain of the swelling or the arthritis and the aggravation, the itching, I just wanted to sleep all that away. And like once I could get at a restful place, I just didn't want to have to wake up to eat or do anything. I did stay real dehydrated, so I was drinking a lot of water. I do miss that because I haven't been drinking as much water as I should, but I'm trying to get back on that. I left my water bottle at my daughter-in-law's house when I went to go see Nugget, so I don't have a water bottle that keeps my water cold. Intimacy wise, it didn't take a toll on me that way because my mind wasn't even thinking about it, just because I was just like, I did not feel attractive. I was like, so I know he not gonna want to touch me, especially like you touch me, a piece of skin fall off or you touch a part, you feel a little bumpy, whatever. So I was just like, in my mind, I was like, God, thank you for the husband that I have, that he's not pressuring me or stressing me about the intimacy part. So it made going through the process easy. But I tell you, the devil tried it. He tried it. It was one day, and this is when he had started training the boy, because he's playing basketball now. He was coaching, so he was gone a lot. And so I was just like, dang, I hope he don't feel like he got to step out. And then that thought just, as fast as it came, as fast as it went. I was like, you know what, devil, bump you. I ain't say it like that though. I was like, I got a man of God. He is not going to do that. And before he would do that, we would have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I told him about that moment. And then, he was like, we were talking about like what I was going through. He's like, I understand. I was like, no, you don't. How can you understand what I'm going through? I'm itching, my skin coming off. I can't wear my hair out. You know what I'm saying? He was like, he said, I do. He was like, do you not know when you were asleep, I would be in the bathroom crying and praying, like, God, what's going on with my wife? Is she dying? Like, what is going on? So he went through it. He just went through it in his own way. And that's why it's so important to communicate with your spouse, especially when you're going through something that is only physically attacking you. It might be physically and mentally attacking you, but it's also mentally attacking the person that you're connected with. And so I'm just so thankful that, during that time, he fed me, he cleaned my, did the laundry, washed the dishes, he did all the things that I was unable to do. And some people wouldn't do that. They would either, go out, make sure themselves were good, and then whatever, what I'm saying? Like, I'm just blessed and I'm just thankful. So where I'm at now, I mean, as you can see, I'm pretty much like, I wouldn't even been able to show my chest. Makeup wouldn't have been able to cover up. Makeup wouldn't be able to cover up. Now my hands, you can kind of see the discoloration. I'm still kind of, and I don't want to call it this, but it reminds me of like vitiligo, where you got some areas that are light and some are dark. So some of the areas, is still kind of scaly. I mean, not completely blended. I still got a few patches like this. I have this on my arm. My legs has it the most, but for the most part, they only really itch maybe at the end of the day when all my ointments have worn off. But other than that, everything is amazing. I am glad to have been able to go through that, because the revelation that I got was that because it happened at the last quarter of the year, the quarter of shedding, that's what I'm calling it. I feel like at the end of the year, that's when we are trying to get rid of things that we didn't need and, that we didn't use and we don't want to bring in 2023. We're trying to get everything fresh and ready for a new year. And I really feel like that's what God was doing to me. Well, that's what God was showing me. He's like, I am giving you a new skin, a new anointing, a fresh anointing. I'm giving you a new vision. Just stay fast, stay the course. Don't stop believing in me, because I will reveal it exactly what it is when you are anew. Kind of like when the Hebrews had their Exodus. They knew that they were about to go to the promised land. But God took them 40 years to get there, because he had to prepare them. He had to get their mind right. Like, they knew they were going to a new, but he had to shed off all that old, Hebrew slave mentality and the, you don't deserve this, you're going to be a worker, be all your, what I'm saying? Like, he had to shed them of all of that before he got them there. And I feel like that's what he was revealing to me, is that before I can get you to the place where I know you can manage everything that I have for you, you got to shed some stuff. And listen, I'm shedding some stuff. A lot of stuff that I would have accepted and taken, and a lot of that stuff, no more. So I'm thankful for me going through that. You know what I'm saying? You have to be thankful for your trials and your tribulations, because if you really tune into what God is trying to reveal to you in that time, because I really believe that when you are going through your troubled times and when you're going through your pain and your sicknesses, that's when you're your weakest. So you're more vulnerable to receive certain things. And so through that, in your vulnerability, that's when you really got to rely on God. Like, God, I really need you, because I don't have the strength to do it myself. And giving him permission to be your strength is when he starts depositing things into you. You may not realize it right then and there, but when you start coming out of it, and then when you actually come completely out of it, you really start to realize, dang, God, you is something else. This is what you was trying to show me. Like, it really makes you appreciate the struggle, the trials and the tribulations. And there was a scripture that I read the other day. I don't know off the top of my head, but it was like, you have to celebrate the ups and the downs, because through both of them, there are learning lessons. There are teachable moments. There are moments of growth, and there are moments of being able to sit back and look at your testimony and be like, how the older people say, Lord, how I got over. How I got over. That's all I got to say. How I got over was only by the grace and the peace of God. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed today's chit chat video. And I do a lot of chit chatting anyway, so I mean, this ain't nothing new. If you have any questions about anything that I've talked about, and I'm going to try to timestamp each section that I'm talking about. That's why I try to break it down, because some people might not want to hear about the planner stuff. They might want to hear about the psoriasis. Some people might want to hear about the family life. So I will timestamp that. I will 100% timestamp that. Make sure you are following me on all of my social media platforms. Again, everything is Life with CheKesha because we doing real balanced life all 2023. You heard me? So I'm going to go ahead and go. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, you already know what to do. Give me a big old thumbs up, and as well click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you never miss any videos that I upload. And it's been real. Again, I'm sure when you see the photos, you can be like, are you okay? Yes, I am fine. I am fine. I am healed. Listen, the blood of Jesus, I walk around with it covering me all day, every day. So I am out, and I will catch you all next time. Peace.